Hello, it's Dawn Michelle and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you the new Sacred Union Oracle by Lisa de St. Croix. It explores the relationship between what it means to be in a sacred union. It says deities and historical figures from many cultures are archetypes and guides. Each card gives an oracle that tells their story and an action to enhance your life and your relationship. The cards are shaped like altar cards with an arched top, and a card holder is an invitation to place your card on an altar or simply in view. This deck was sent to me for a review. So the Sacred Creators Union is by one of my favorite deck creators. I absolutely love the Tarot de St. Croix. This is actually the second edition, the borderless edition, and this is a deck that I use quite often for my personal spiritual path work. And so I feel like it goes really well with the Sacred Union Oracle. So we're gonna move that out of the way and check out the deck real quick. It comes in this lovely magnetic closure box, and you can see there's a little bit about the deck. And as you can see, the cards have the rounded top, which definitely gives them a kind of altar appeal. And we have this beautiful card holder here that also comes with the deck in the box. It did come in plastic, but I've taken all the plastic out so that we didn't have to mess with any of that on camera. So let's take a little flip through this deck. This deck does have all the messages on the back, which is really lovely for an altar card because you have everything all combined into one. So we'll take a look at the image and then flip it around and see who each of these sacred unions are. So this is Athena, Owl, and Medusa. So we have a little bit of kind of a devotional message, which I think would be really wonderful when you're pulling these cards to maybe speak these words aloud or write them down in a journal. But we also have a key word and some key phrases down here. So theoretically, it could also be used as a traditional oracle card where you're looking to the cards to give you some sort of guidance. So I think that's really cool that it has both. And I love that the Sacred Union here is actually between the deity, the animal, and the mythological figure as well. So I think that's really cool. They're not all your typical pairings. So this is a beautiful card of Baron Setami and Maman Brigid. I might mispronounce some of these names, so I will apologize. And the keyword is irreverence. Beautiful cards. I love this one. The Black Madonna and Child with Nurture. It's gorgeous. This is looks very reminiscent of a couple of the cards in the Tarot de St. Croix. This is Danu and Cernunnos with Growth. Again, I love that the pairings are not always your typical pairings that you would think of in terms of like a couple, right? Because here we have Demeter and Persephone with Reunion. It's beautiful. Eros and Psyche with Metamorphosis. Friggin' Odin with Advice. Hanuman, Brahma, and Sita with Devotion. Again, I apologize if I pronounce anything incorrectly. Ishtar and Tamazu with Sexual Love. Isis and Osiris with Eternal Love. Izagni and Zamami with Creativity. Jonathan and David with Loyalty. Joseph and Jacob with Jealousy. King Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot, Love Triangle. That's pretty cool. That is a sacred union between that triangle though, right? That triad. King Solomon and Queen Sheba with Sovereignty. So we have the Magdalene and Yeshua with Mystical Union. Mars, Venus, and Cupid with Opposites Attract. Maya Hero Twins with Trials. Neptune and Salacia with Flow. Nuwa and Fuxi with Marriage. Oshan and Shango with Complementary. Radha Krishna with Enchantment. Rumi and Shamus with Spiritual Love. Sappho and Arina, Muse. Shiva Shakti with non-duality. That's really cool. Sun and Moon with reflecting. Thoth or Thoth and Seshet with communication. Viracocha and Mamacocha with manifesting. Wiwaha with Two Spirit. And Yabayum with Tantric Sex. So a lot of really cool sacred union couples in this particular deck. I think the illustrations are really beautiful, but I also really like the messages that are on the back. So as I mentioned, I could see using this both for altar cards and pulling the sacred union coupling or triad that I would like to honor or work with, but I could also see using it as an oracle for divination as well, because I think the messages are really, really cool on the back. So like metamorphosis, let love transform you, trust the journey, devotion with love and loyalty, serve and worship your beloved, creativity, enjoy the flow of creativity, make something new. There was one here that I thought was really cool. The Two Spirit, move beyond gender identity, become an ambassador for freedom. Like I thought that one was really, really cool. So really interesting, cool concept in this deck. There are definitely a few cards in here that I feel like I could pull out for my own personal work. Maybe even some for seasonal work as well, but like Black Madonna is definitely a deity and an energy I work with. For sure, Isis and Osiris. There's also the Thoth and Seshet, wherever that one went. So there's a lot of energies in here that really do resonate with my own personal practice, which is quite lovely. And I want to see, like, can we shuffle this? Because how do you shuffle a deck that, like, you can't really riffle it, but I could probably, yeah, give it a little side riffle. You can also, I think, probably just overhand it this way. If you wanted to do like a sort of oracle, just pull a card like for an oracle message, you would probably want to give it a little bit of shuffle. However, I think if you're using it for devotional work, you might just also want to go through and decide who's calling to you at the moment, or who do you intentionally want to work with. Like if I was working with the Magdala, maybe I would pull this particular card out and I would set it out on my altar, or maybe I would just kind of lay the cards all out and see, you know, who's calling to me, who do I feel like I'm feeling drawn to at this time, and maybe it's Thoth and Seshet, which is kind of funny because I think I just mentioned them. They knew that I said their name, so they are on the forefront. Let's go ahead and put them on the front. So I feel like you could work with this deck in a lot of different ways, which is really cool. I enjoy a multifunctional oracle deck. What I want to do is try it as like an actual oracle as well. So I'm going to give my Tarot de St. Croix a little shuffle. I just felt like, you know, these two decks, being that they're by the same creator, the artwork is of course very similar. I feel like they were just really kind of meant to go together. So I want to kind of honor that. And like I said, I love this deck. I do have the first edition as well with the orange, the iconic orange borders, which I do quite love. But I enjoy working with this one as well, the borderless edition, which is still coming off of my hands. So what I want to do is kind of just think for a moment, maybe take a little breath and think about maybe an energy that I might need to pull into my day. And what I'm going to do, the Black Madonna poked her head out there. I'm going to just kind of take a breath. I'm actually going to flip them this way, and I'm going to pull a card. And we got Nuwa and Fuxi, I hope I said that right, with marriage. So yin and yang, sister and brother, man and wife, square and compass, sun and moon, human and serpent. We created divinity from clay, invented marriage, connected heaven and earth. Bring together your unique selves, create a new life of togetherness. So I thought what might be interesting to do is to have that as the focal point for a reading of what energy I might want to pull in today. And then I'm going to pull one card for each from the Tarot de St. Croix and see what message they have for me. So we have the Eight of Pentacles and the Star. Like, how lovely is that? I think that works really well to help us tap into that energy to kind of get a larger, more complete message. But I do like that you can also just take these cards, pull one that you might feel called to, and just put it on your altar for the day. So if I was feeling called to this one because it keeps popping up to me, I can put it here in this little card holder, and you can see like it sits up there really beautifully. So I can have that sitting on my desk for the day. I also like that there's some space, like if I want to put like a little crystal there with them, or maybe have a little bit of a devotional time and then give an offering for the sacred union couple that is on the card. I think that would work really well. I like that it has the card stand because not everybody has card stands, so I think that's really cool to include that in the box set as well. Since we like doing the pairings here on my channel, I thought we would just kind of take a moment and maybe flip through these two decks together to see what messages come out from them. Again, because they're from the same creator, I definitely feel like the energies align. The artwork's very, of course, compatible, but I feel like the energy and the essence of both of these decks really going to make them work very well together. So we have the Black Madonna with the Hermit and the Empress. How perfect is that? That's like a gorgeous, gorgeous pairing. Our two queens with our Isis and Osiris. How beautiful. So I love the colors. I love the way that Lisa de St. Croix renders her artwork. I feel like it really flows with a lot of energy. There's a lot of intention, a lot of love, passion, devotion. I feel like all of that goes into her decks, and I feel like you can really get that sense of that from working with them. And yeah, they're just beautiful together. Look at that, the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Wands. I mean, the colors are super compatible. And, you know, using it as an altar card is wonderful, but I love that we can also pull in that tarot to get that more fleshed out meaning, which I think is really cool. This is interesting. We have kind of a family dynamic thing going on in both of these two cards. And of course, there are some deities and historical figures and similar archetypes in the Tarot de St. Croix as well. So yeah, we'll just take a little flip through a couple of these just to kind of see. I mean, they're kind of just meant to go together, right? Yeah, beautiful. So just for fun, there were two other decks that kind of came to mind that I felt like had a similar energy and that might pair really well with the Sacred Union Oracle. One of those is the Wandering Star Tarot. Like, I feel like the art styles are really, really compatible. And I love that this is a really kind of easy reader for a Rider-Waite-Smith. It's got great artwork as well. My copy is heavily modified. It's trimmed and edged. But I thought that these two decks together might create a really wonderful bridge between kind of that spiritual and the mundane world, because the Wandering Star Tarot does feel like it really exists in the everyday realm, kind of in the mundane space. And that Sacred Union Oracle, it can help us create a bridge between those two, which I thought would be really, really cool. I have one other little thing that I kind of want to play with. Again, I feel like the colors are really compatible. The art style is really compatible. And I do love that we can have that, you know, Oracle message on the back as well. So we can look at, you know, flow, and maybe we're looking at Neptune and Solilica here in these two different cards and the messages that they are going to bring together for us. So I think that's really cool. There's a lot of different things that you can do with an oracle like this. And I feel like these two decks together, like there's just something about the colors, the energy. I feel like they flow together really, really well. But again, you can also use the Sacred Union as altar cards, which is kind of the intention. But I love the ability to use it in multiple different ways. I think that really makes an oracle have a really great place in my collection when I can use it for more than just one thing. Look at that. And I love when you can track the colors. Like, where's all the black drawing my eye in each of these cards? Really, really neat. So let's just do one more quick pairing. I have the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot here because I feel like both of these decks, and I have edged mine in green, I feel like both of these decks kind of occupy that same spiritual space. And again, I feel like we can pull these two elements together. Look at, we have Chance and the Empress with Persephone and Demeter. I mean, that's kind of brilliant. Again, I feel like the colors are going to be compatible, and I feel like the energies are really compatible. So I was kind of curious to see how these two played together and what messages might come through when we spend some time working with them. Again, I feel like I could really draw a lot more tarot cards than just the two that I have showing on the table here. I feel like I could do much bigger readings with these because we have this beautiful kind of focal point energy with the Sacred Union Oracle. And then the decks like the Intuitive Night Goddess or the Wandering Star Tarot, even the Tarot de St. Croix, those are very easy readers for me, which means I feel like I can use a lot of cards and I can get this really robust message because I don't struggle with them. They speak really plainly to me, really succinctly, and I get what it's trying to tell me. And so that allows me to really dive even deeper, to pull more cards, to really get these beautiful fleshed out messages. Like I feel like with these particular decks, like I could pull multiple cards here even. And maybe I could pull multiple cards from all of these decks together. So let's get the Wandering Star back out because I feel like this would be a wonderful way to work with these decks as well. So let's just pull one from each. And look how beautiful that is, because I feel like we're getting the central focus here with the Sacred Union, and then we're getting the kind of into the spiritual realm with the Intuitive Night Goddess, and then into the taking it down into the mundane realm. So where can we apply this energy in a spiritual sense, and where can we apply it in the mundane sense? Maybe this is the essence of Eros, and maybe this is the essence of Psyche. That's who this is, correct? Yes. So I think that's really kind of a fun way to play with decks like these as well. Let's do a few more so we can see what we're getting here, what kind of messages are coming through from the mystical and the mundane. I mean, that's quite beautiful as well. Let's just do one more. A lot of interesting energy with these cards, but I love the colors. I love the illustrations, and I love the way they kind of all blend together. I think it's really, really cool. So that was a look at the Sacred Union Oracle. I really enjoyed the illustrations on the deck. I think they're really charming. I really like her particular art style. I love the sacred pairings that she's chosen, or triads in some cases. I think it's really quite an interesting concept for an oracle deck. And I do really enjoy the messages on the back. I love that we have this sort of almost devotional message that we can use, as well as an oracle message. So this makes this a very multifunctional oracle deck, which I always appreciate when I have the ability to use a deck in more than one way. It's definitely a deck that I can foresee myself using as altar cards, as well as a deck that I could use in readings themselves. As always, I will have links for everything that I've talked about here in the description box below. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon.